Good morning and welcome to our final week of comprehension. We're going to look at a new text this week. So we are going to start with our quick starter, and if you want to grab a pencil, pen, some paper so you can write on, write your date and walk down, which is immerse into a text, and your starter is to describe the setting below in the picture. So remember, we're looking for powerful adjectives, maybe describing what the landscape is doing, what colours can you see, can you compare those colours to anything else? How can you describe what's in the foreground, which is in the front of the picture, versus the background, which is in the background, the back of the picture? Pause the video and have a go at describing the setting below. So now that you've finished your starter, let's introduce our new author and our new text for this week. So we're going to look at a brand new text by an author that's called Nicola Davis. And this text is called The Promise. Now, let's put our detective hats on. I'm going to move my camera. Let's put our detective hats on and have a look at the front cover of Nicola Davis's book, The Promise. What can we see? What can we sort of work out so far? Is there anything you notice about it? Is there anything that jumps out at you? Can you make any guesses based on what you can see so far and what you think the story might be about? Can you make any predictions? So what we're going to do first of all, guys, is just based on the front cover, we are going to mind map some ideas about what we think the book is about, what we know about it, and what we think might happen. So the children in school will have a little front cover that they can cut out and stick into their books. We're not going to have that at home. That's okay. So what I would like you to draw is in a small bubble, write The Promise, put a bubble around it, and then you'll be able to mind map some of the ideas. So you could draw an arrow coming out to start off with. I can see. What can you see on the front cover? What can you work out by looking at the character? What is she doing? And based on what you can see, what do you think the story might be about? Start making those predictions based on what you can see. So pause the video there, guys, and have a go at mind mapping your thoughts about the cover so far. Now, we are going to have a read of the text now, and you guys are going to have a go at your likes, dislikes, puzzles, and connections. Now, this task will mean that as you are hearing the story, as you're reading the story as well, you need to write down what you like about it, what you dislike about it, and puzzles and connections means, is there anything that is confusing you? So if you hear a sentence, you think, oh, that's a bit strange, I don't know what that means. That's where you jot it down in your puzzle section. It's puzzling you. And then the connections is where you can draw connections to other things. So does this remind you about something else? Is this similar to another story? Can you make a connection to something that you've done before? So this is drawing any similarities to anything and everything that you can think of. Now, I'm going to leave this up on the screen. So you're going to need to, on your page, just below your mind map, write likes, dislikes, puzzles, and connections. Now, you could lay it out like this, put a cross on your page, or if you want to, you could just write them in subtitles. Write likes, leave a couple of lines, write dislikes, leave a couple of lines, and do puzzles, and then same with connections. Okay, so let's have a look at our text. Okay, so this is The Promise. Now, if you wanted to read along, you can obviously mute me if you wanted to and pause the video so you can read each page. But if you just want to listen along, that's absolutely fine. Okay. When I was young, I lived in a city that was mean and hard and ugly. Its streets were dry as dust, cracked by the heat and cold, and never blessed with rain. A gritty yellow wind blew constantly, scratching round the buildings like a hungry dog. Nothing grew, everything was broken, and no one ever smiled. The people had grown as mean and hard and ugly as their city, and I was mean and hard and ugly too. I lived by stealing from those who had almost as little as I did. My heart was as shriveled as the dead trees in the park. And then, one night, I met an old lady down a dark street. She was frail and alone and an easy victim. Her bag was fat and full, but when I tried to snatch it from her, she held on with the strength of heroes. To and fro we pulled that bag until at last she said, "If you promise to plant them, I'll let go." What did she mean? I didn't know or care. I just wanted the bag. So I said, "All right, I promise." She loosened her grip at once and smiled at me. I ran off without a backward look, thinking of the food and money in her bag. But when I opened it, there were only acorns. I stared at them, so green, so perfect, and so many, and then I understood the promise I made her. I held a forest in my arms, and my heart was changed. I forgot the food and money, and for the first time in my life, I felt lucky, sick, rich beyond my wildest dreams. I slept with the acorns for my pillow, my head full of lofty, leafy visions, and in the morning I began to keep my promise. I planted beside roads, on roundabouts, among rubble, ruins, and rusty railings, by train tracks, tram lines, and traffic lights, in abandoned parks and gardens laced with broken glass behind factories and shopping malls, at bus stops, cafes, blocks of flats. I pushed aside mean and ugly, and I planted, planted, planted. Nothing changed at first. The gritty wind still scratched the parched, cracked streets. The people scowled and sculled to their homes like cockroaches. But slowly, slowly, shoots of green began to show. Trees! First here and there, then everywhere. People came onto the street to see. They touched the leaves in wonder and they smiled. They took tea together by the tiny trees. They talked and they laughed. And pretty soon they were planting too, trees and flowers, fruits and vegetables in parks and gardens, on balconies and rooftops. Green spread through the city like a song, breathing to the sky, drawing down the rain like a blessing. But by then I was already far away, planting in another sad and sorry city. And another, and another, and another. And last night, in a lonely alley, a young thief fought me for my sack of acorns. I smiled and made the old bargain, knowing how a heart can change, knowing that my planting will go on. Okay, so that's our new text. Really like it. It's called The Promise, and I think it's got some lovely sort of metaphors in. I really like the artwork, and I really like some of the sort of story within it as well. So write down what you like and what you dislike about it. What puzzles have you? What things did you want to question, or did you find kind of tricky, or didn't quite understand? And what connections can you make? So like I said, that could be about existing stories that you've read. Can you make any connections to the metaphor that's being sort of woven into the story? Is there anything that you um, can think of in the story that reminds you of something else? So, this story is similar to another story that I've read with a similar meaning. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video there. Good luck with the first day of reading comprehension, and I look forward to your answers later on. Cheers, guys. Bye.